Hello, you are watching the Teaching Transitions podcast, where we help people who have traditional career paths hear stories about people who have chartered their own path and navigate their own wilderness. So today we have Garrett with All Out Amazon. How are you today, Garrett?
I'm well. I'm well. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. Yeah. So today we are taping. It is Wednesday, a little bit of I don't know. It might be a little bit of the same day for me, but I kind of feel like it's a Monday. How is your day going so far?
Oh, it's been a long week for me. Um,
Yeah.
Monday through Wednesday. I mean, every day during the week is typically anywhere between like a 16 or 18-hour work week. So I
Uh
start to feel that once we get to Wednesday into Thursday into Friday, then it starts to feel it a little bit. But all is good. All is good.
awesome. So go ahead and let us know what exactly, like, where are you in life? What have you accomplished? What are you known for?
So if you ask Instagram, I'm known for the Amazon business we've built. I started all on Amazon, the brand, and obviously the Amazon business about a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago.
Mm,
We've experienced some success recently. Obviously, we also created a prep center, and then just an all Amazon brand where we do coaching and just a community, right? So it's been a whirlwind of a 12 months, but definitely a blessing for sure so far.
Amazing. I did not know about the prep center, so I'm gonna have to hit you up about that. Where is the prep center located?
So the warehouse is in Delaware, which obviously is a no sales tax state, which is one of the big leverage points. But yeah,
Awesome, awesome, Delaware. Up north, right? I don't even remember where Delaware is. It's like I'm from Oklahoma and people say the same thing to me. Like I don't know where it is on the map. Mhm.
Yeah, so I live right outside of Philadelphia, in southeastern
Okay.
Pennsylvania in the suburbs. And then the warehouse is just over the border.
Oh, okay. So you commute. Awesome.
I do, yeah. I have a cot set up down here in the warehouse, so if I make it home, it's the best case scenario, but it doesn't always happen for sure.
Okay, so Amazon, all out Amazon Prep Center, all that is where you are now. But take us back to before the Prep Center, Amazon, all that. Where were you?
So I went to school in Pennsylvania. I was a math and finance double major. Expecting a typical career in business, finance, whatever I kind of found myself in. Right after graduation, I got a job as a data analyst for a public utility water company. I worked in the corporate office. From there, I picked up a job with a global software company, which I actually still have that position now. I
Oh,
kind of I manage both of them. Amazon typically at night, and then I work as a developer during the day. Um, and that's pretty much taken me to this point. At the beginning of quarantine, COVID, that whole scenario,
mhm.
um, I just found a lot of free time on the weekends with not much to do. So I
Yeah,
started going down the Amazon rabbit hole, as a lot of people do.
yeah,
Started watching Instagram videos, YouTube videos, just trying to take in a bunch of knowledge, right, and just learn what the space is all about. I started with selling some books from thrift stores, Goodwills, etc., just to kind of get proof of concept, see what there was to do, and see if it was legit.
right.
Had some
The
success
biggest
with the
part.
book. Right, for sure. Had some success with the books, and then I started to scale into some online arbitrage. Obviously, no one was going into stores, right? So I'd purchase products from all sorts of retail stores, get them shipped to my house, and then turn them around and ship them to the FBA center. That started to scale. Started purchasing more in bulk. Obviously, opened up the warehouse about a year and a half ago, and it just has continued to grow ever since, right? So it all started with just like some curiosity before COVID, and now we're doing over 100,000 a month. So it happens
Yeah.
quickly, for sure.
Yeah. That dedication and that ambitious, like, continuing to diversify, that's something that you really don't build, or you can't, get someone or pay for someone to do something with that type of grit. So I'm wondering, was there someone that really inspired you or you started? Was there a particular YouTube channel or you were like, that could possibly be believable?
I mean, there was a couple. One of my best friends now is I'm not sure if you're familiar with Flips for Miles.
Mm-hmm.
I saw his channel. He was heavy onto Instagram back in the day, and now he's diversified into YouTube and all sorts of different platforms. But he was one of the first ones that I kind of was exposed to because he's young. He was doing sort of the same things. He was in shoes back in the day, and he kind of got me interested. And then I kind of got into a couple different accounts, started to listen to podcasts, and just started to take in knowledge, just trying to absorb as much material as possible, learn a bunch, and just see what there was, see what I could do with it. And obviously, it worked out in the end. So
Okay, so with this being in the Amazon space and possibly networking in that space also, did it cause you to change up your habits? Did any of your emotions change? Did anything like really get kicked up in order for you to be successful and kind of navigate both of those? I think you're saying that you find value in both of them. So is there something internally that changed or like an aha moment?
yes, that's a good question. A couple things happened, right? So obviously, taking on more responsibility, more tasks, and employees, right? So that just kind of really matures you quite a bit, whether you're ready for it or not.
Yeah.
Having to deal with a whole aspect of life, right? Business, it never ends, it doesn't stop. It's always something is going on, right? So there was a really sort of discipline in terms of really starting to fine tune my time, how my days are spent, filter out a lot of the excess in terms of wasting time.
Yeah.
So that was a big development aspect early on, in terms of just really trying to squeeze out every part of the day that I possibly could, just
Right.
because I have a lot going on, right? And the other thing is, and this really comes down like the refers back to the social media aspect in terms of with social media, especially in our space, it's natural and it's normal for people to post successes and maybe even your
Yeah.
numbers and that sort of thing, right? So it really started to make me aware of who I kept around and who I kept close, right? Because all of a sudden you have people seeing your successes and then they potentially want a piece of that. And people from like my pre-Amazon days, like maybe friends I met in college, all start
Right.
crawling back when maybe you haven't seen them and heard from them in a while, right? So it's just really keeping your circle close knit. Be disciplined with who uses or who takes up your time and who really deserves that time, right? Because I think that's a whole nother aspect that's really come into play and nowadays with 2021 being the social media age.
Yeah.
Really just really being aware of who's around you and making sure they're really the people that can level you up and be your support when you need it.
Awesome. I think we deal with the same, really just trying to keep our priorities in line and our goals and all that. And not everyone has goals. That's a sad reality, especially with my family members. I kind of struggle with that with my siblings, especially because, we have the same parents. We're in the same household. Like, wait, you have
Yeah.
goals, right? Like, let's go out there and get it. But it's definitely not at the same level when you're like, I gotta go, go, go. So what are some of the goals that you have doing both of these things with such intensity? Are you fire? Are you coast fire? I know there's like a mod now, but what is it you're trying to achieve?
And so believe it or not, like really my life passion, it doesn't really have much to do with business at all.
Mm,
Amazon building this community is all sort of a means to an end, right? So my passion is cancer has affected my family in a lot of different ways, and so
mhm.
I run marathons for cancer research. So real my when I'm not working, I'm training for marathons or raising money or et cetera, right? So a lot of motivation in business and generating a platform and a voice is to be able to cater that towards my ultimate goal is to raise a bunch of money for cancer research and really move the needle in that space. right? So whether that be providing funding for the hospitals or just generating awareness. So that's really the space that I'm passionate about. This is kind of just a way to generate the freedom where I can dedicate my entire time to that, right? Build a business that's self-sufficient, that allows me to step away and do my training and travel the world and see the patients that I want to see, as well as obviously develop the funding and the generational wealth to be able to make that change myself. So it's a twofold sort of motivation, but it really all comes down to my passion and effect from the cancer space.
Yeah, I try to explain that to a lot of people that really haven't started in Amazon. It's just a starting point. Just get it and make sure you're using it to leverage your potential or whatever you want to do, and set it up and go have fun, really. So it's great to hear that. I didn't realize that you ran marathons like that either. Do you have a number that you've hit? How many marathons have you run?
So I've done at least one the past, I think 7 years I've been involved. So I mean, I guess that's seven. I've done the New York City Marathon and the Philly Marathon both a couple times. I
Mhm.
actually did an ultra marathon last summer, or I guess 2 summers. COVID kind of messed things up, but 2 summers ago, which was kind of nuts. And then right now, I have my focus on another Philly Marathon, which is in November. So that's kind of what I'm finding time to train for right now.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you, you train, are you doing 2 a days now? One a day?
Yeah, so typically I wake up around at 7, go for my morning run, work all day, get a second cardio session around 6, weight training, and then end up asleep hopefully by 2 or 1:32 if I'm
Whew,
lucky.
whew. I'm like, I'm like getting up at 4 o'clock. Like I got up at 4 and did a workout. And then my day is probably in around 11 or 12. But like I may do a workout every other day, but this every day for you?
Yeah, typically I try and get off my feet at least one day a week in terms of just kind of relieving the stress off my knees and shins. So I
Mhm.
typically don't run one day, but I'm on either biking or doing the stair climber pretty much 7 days a week. Yeah, and then weight training 6.
Ooh, but what about the food? Because if you are on a cot and you're training, what do you do for your food?
So I eat the same thing every day, twice Monday through Friday, and I get a lot of all my friends and stuff give me a hard time, but I have a pretty regimented diet. I eat like the frozen bags of vegetables. So I
Hmm.
have a microwave down here, right? So I have a bunch of frozen veggies I put in the microwave, and I get from Aldi's like a pack of pre-cooked grilled chicken, and I
Yeah,
just put it in the veggie
yeah.
bag, and just that's what I do for lunch and dinner. And then typically before on the weekends I'm home. I have a long run on the weekend, so then I just obviously feast at home. But yeah, I stay pretty regimented with my diet, which helps my energy, helps my schedule. Diet is huge, which a lot of people underestimate.
Yeah, I try to be that disciplined, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know people that eat the same thing every single day, eating oatmeal. I'm like every single day. Yeah, that is a different type of discipline, and it definitely shows up in your business also. So that
Oh
is,
yeah, for sure. That I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing with discipline though, is that people overcomplicate it, right?
Hmm.
Disciplines are created through routines, and routines aid in discipline, right? So if you do something every like for example, we brush our teeth twice a day, right?
Right.
There's so many different things that we do every single day in repetition. We've just established a preconceived notion that our food and our diet and our eating has to be different. Like why, right?
That's
People
true.
drive to the same places every single day. People have Starbucks every single day. Why not program your mind to eliminate that decision, right? Obviously, it saves you time, right? You don't have to plan your meals.
Yeah.
You know, you're eating the same thing Monday
Right.
through Friday, so it saves that 5, 10, 20 minutes of, okay, what am I going to eat? Well, it takes that decision out of it, right? So it just, obviously helps with discipline because there is no choice, right? You eat
Right.
what you eat, and that's it. And then it just helps so many different aspects in terms of just from like a metabolism perspective, a nutrition perspective. It's huge for me. And then
Yeah.
obviously I have
No, I
my
completely agree. Yeah, like once you have discipline and once you start seeing the benefits and the outcome of the discipline, it's like, okay, let me translate that to other parts of my life so we can just coast on through. So that is going to be the wrap up of our podcast, Teaching Transitions. Is there any place people can find you? Anything you want to shout out?
So I spend a lot of my time on Instagram. It's going to be all out Amazon. So that's where I post a lot of my content. That's where I really spend a lot of time in the DM interacting with my community. So that's really where a lot of the action, I guess, happens. And I guess that's probably the best place where people can find me.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. At All Out Amazon on Instagram. Today's podcast is sponsored by GSTW, where we help you find and fund your passion through e-commerce. Thank you.